Some of the times I do get asked about a budget IEM that is not very detail oriented, that does not sound artificial or lean at any point, and is musical, is bassy, and is fun, not straining at all. And this is the HZsound Ginkgo, and somehow I feel this is one of the best IEMs you can get under $50. I've been working around a handful of IEMs in the $20 to even as high as $1,000. So I have reasonable range, and I do not like a lot of IEMs. Okay, there are some flaws in every IEM, and Ginkgo on the other hand is a very satisfying IEM when it comes to its asking price, to be precise. Now usually we do not get tuning nozzles with IEMs in this price range usually, because there are some brands that like to offer tuning nozzles with cheaper IEMs, and this is one of them. HZsound Ginkgo has three tuning nozzles. You guys can see already that the green one is already on the IEM, and I prefer the green one. It is slightly boosting the upper mid and lower treble region, mid treble region, to offer a bit more clarity. Now it's not like it is not balancing the bass or anything like that, and that is the interesting part. Even though the graph does not show that it is kind of balancing the bass, but somehow when you put this on, it kind of balances the vigorous or the mighty presentation of the lower end, to be precise. When I change it to the pink one, the bassiest one, to be precise, it kind of gets a bit more vigorous. It kind of shows a lot of slowness to it. Its weight kind of increases nearly 2 times, so it kind of gets heavier and kind of feels like unnatural, to be precise. I prefer it to be a bit more balanced, a bit more calmer, not unnaturally woolly or soft. So I have used the green one. The black one kind of balances things out, but I'm not exactly impressed with that one either. But the green one kind of balances everything out for me. It still is not very balanced. Let me be very clear. It kind of offers very good bass still with the green filter, but it definitely has good control over the lower end notes. Before we jump into the sound quality, let's talk about the accessories. We get a sizable case. You guys can see it has a sizable case. You can put in a USB DAC amp in it if you want to, and I have been using it with the mobile phone because it got a 3.5mm jack, and my mobile phone still has a 3.5mm jack, and the Cayenne RU3. This one is a slightly expensive USB DAC amp at just $100. Yes, $100 is not exactly expensive for a USB DAC amp, but fairly expensive for a IEM that is just $50. So the difference is there. Keep no doubts about that. When I use it with the mobile phone, it is slightly lacking with the resolution and definition. The note depth is not exactly great, but when I pair it with the Cayenne RU3, I'm getting much better staging, much better depth, and much better 3D feel of the stage. So yes, if you have a USB DAC amp, or if you are contemplating about getting a USB DAC amp, I'll say yes, go for it, because mobile phones are not bad. I will not say that the mobile phones are bad. They get the job done, but they are not exactly great when it comes to being the lone source. They kind of lack with the power, and this one is not exactly difficult to drive either. 28 ohm, but the driver configuration is slightly tricky. 10mm dynamic driver with a PTZ double driver unit, so it is slightly difficult to drive for a mobile phone, but when you pair it with something good, it definitely brings out the best out of this one. Now if we look at the build, I was slightly uncomfortable with the build, to be precise. I was not happy with the build because I kind of felt that the earpieces are very light. I was worried about its durability, but to my surprise, this is fairly reasonable when it comes to the build quality. I was expecting the nozzle to break or anything like that, but it kind of has a reasonable amount of stability to it. It does not fall apart, so that is a good thing. It is very lightweight, to be precise. I kind of felt that they could have add a bit more heft to offer a bit more stability, but somehow this is not unstable or anything like that. And the nozzle depth, you guys can see, is very good. For a IM of this price range, the nozzle depth is much better than any KZ or anything like that. You guys can already see it has very good nozzle depth, and I'm really liking the way this one is being placed inside the ear. Okay, the fit and everything is very comfortable. There is a slight bit of wing kind of design too, so it is very comfortable inside the ear. The size is not big either. You guys can see around 17-18 millimeters to be precise. So the volume is not big either, so this is fairly comfortable inside the ear. No issues with fit or anything like that. And let's move on to the sound quality. Okay, so no, not sound quality. Let's have a look at the cable first. Okay, so this is a cable of a $50 Chi-Fi IM, and in the last video we saw a $650 American brand IM with a worse cable, to be precise. Okay, this one definitely looks better, you cannot deny that. The 64 Audio Aspire 3 came with a much worse looking, less comfortable T2 BAX cable. BAX cables are expensive, unreasonably expensive. These 2-pin cables are cheaper. I'm not exactly sure what technical advances the T2 BAX brings in, but these 2-pin cables are much more convenient, much more cheaper. In any case, this definitely is a good cable for this IM, to be precise. Let's move on to the sound quality finally. Okay, we are getting very good sub bass extension. I'm really liking the way they have presented the whole lower end. It is a bassy IM, let me be very clear about that. I have been using the least bassiest nozzle here, but this is a bassy IM. It kind of offers good amount of grunt, good amount of vim and vigor to it. It's not the bass head kind of bass, but it definitely is very bassy, to be precise, and has the punch, has the weight if you use the pink nozzle. Here we are getting very good sub bass extension, very good sub bass rumble, very good definition with the rumble too. The mid bass is voluminous, it is sizable, the area of impact is fairly big. We get good layered delivery too, no issues with that either. Dynamics are good. I will not say the dynamics are bad or anything like that, but yes, the technical bits of $50 IM cannot be great when it comes to a bassy IM, to be precise. If it were a bit more on the balance side, it might have offered a bit more technical abilities, but it still has very good texture. No issues with contrast of back and foreground instruments either, so it is good. Yes, it does not have the kind of control we usually see with a more balanced sounding IM, but it still has good control over the upper bass notes. Okay, it's not like it is wayward or anything like that. It manages to deliver a reasonably clean upper bass, kick bass notes and that kind of stuff. So no issues with the exact control, but yes, the control is not immaculate or very clean. So that is that. If we move on to the mid range, that is where this IM is very interesting. Okay, now I have not mentioned it in this video yet, but this is a W shaped IM, kind of W shaped, mildly W shaped to be precise. So it kind of emphasizes a bit more on the vocals than the instruments. So the vocals are very well done. No issues with tonality and timbre either. They have good note height, they have good amount of texture, and I'm liking the way they have rendered the body of a note. Okay, it kind of has a wider base and it ends up in a more precise point. So they have very good kind of definition to them. The resolution is good too. No issues with the body or anything like that. Texture too are very good. Yes, both male vocals have the right amount of grunt to them. I would have liked a bit more gruntiness to them. They are not very warm or anything like that. They are a bit on the slightly on the smoother side, but they are not very warm or thick or anything like that. So the cleanliness is maintained. So that is a very good thing for a $50 IM. So I'm liking the way they have rendered the vocals. Instruments around the vocal region are reasonable. They are not great, let me be very clear. They are not the greatest or cleanest or anything like that, but they still have the right amount of resolving capabilities. The definition and that kind of stuff are good too. No issues with the emphasis or anything like that. But if you like a bit more emphasis, you might like to look at some other options in the dollar 50 price range, maybe some KZIM that will offer you a bit more resolution and definition. But this one is not bad at all either. So what it gets right is the tonality and timbre. It has very good tonality and timbre, which KZIMs are not great with, because their BA timbre kind of takes over the mid range, and it kind of feels slightly metallic, slightly plasticky to most of us. In any case, no issues with upper mids, no sharpness to be worried about. Even though the energy kind of goes up, it kind of balances nicely. It does not turn into sharp or peaky kind of presentation, so that is a good thing. If you move on to the treble range, that is the not so great part of this IM. Yes, it has good amount of extension, but the upper treble is not the cleanest. Okay, let me be very clear. You cannot expect a lot of clarity in the upper treble region in a $50 IM. If you want that, you are in the wrong price range. Go up to 100 maybe, opt for QUTG, and you will have that kind of clarity. But this is not bad at all. It has good amount of agility. I like the reasonably lively presentation of this one. I am fairly impressed with the staging too. Okay, I will cover that in a moment. It has very good layering, very good separation, very good air between instruments, and the stage is big. Stage is big for a $50 IM. This one has a bigger stage than most of the KZ IMs at this price range. It offers a very good expanded 3D like stage, which is expanded in every direction, and I'm really impressed the way it has separated the back and foreground instruments in the treble range. Okay, the transient effects of a background instrument is a lot cleaner than what we usually get with a KZIM. KZIMs, what happens with them is that their BA timbre kind of kills that emotional feeling with the transient effect, but this one has the right amount of juiciness with those instrumental movements, in head movements of instruments. So this is very good when it comes to the whole spectrum. It is not going to ace anything, but it is not lacking with anything either. So if you want a very good sounding IM that is not straining, that kind of does not break the bank either, and offers good clarity, good performance across the spectrum, you should definitely consider the HZsound Ginkgo. So this is it, guys. This is my review of the HZsound Ginkgo. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Enjoy.